is not a weapon. Flamer is probably something that has been made for the purpose of stealing information. But this time, very, very sensitive information, very, very interesting information, also from a geopolitical perspective, because this is available, and this has been targeting primarily places like West Bank, Middle East. Okay? At the same time, it also has some unique features. It's the first malware that's designed to attack Bluetooth devices. So this gives you a bit of an idea about where we are right now, but also what the evolution is likely to be. What are we doing about it? Where is the European policy going? Because let's face it, I showed you some fairly scary stuff, but at the same time, we're doing all the necessary steps to deal with it. We're doing all the necessary steps so as to allow the vision of the previous speaker, everything mobile, everything connected, to continue to drive economic growth, drive innovation, and do that in a secure way. And make no mistake about it, we're actually quite successful. Had we not been, things wouldn't have been working now either. So, where is European policy going? First of all, we have the digital agenda, both in Europe, and also there's been a particular effort and focus in Greece in trying to take the 180, I think, so many objectives of the digital agenda and try to cascade them down per member state. I myself had the pleasure to working with the Greek authorities in that regard on the information security side of it. I think the national, let's say, the focus on the national issues right now has a bit slowed down the process, but I do hope that as things turn more on in Greece, we're going to see also further development there. The internal security strategy of the European Union is right now addressing cybercrime and is also addressing creating the European Cybercrime Centre within Europol. Both of these are initiatives that are actually either in the decision-making phase, so the update to cybercrime legislation is ongoing, whereas the European Cybercrime Centre is something that's already been decided. We have in Greece the European Network and Information Security Agency, whereby there are a lot of discussions about expanding its mandate and scope. And there is also the legislation on data protection, which is ongoing and is being currently in the phase of update. I think we need to be there realistic about trying to strike the right balance. Things like targeted advertisement on one hand and data protection don't always go hand in hand. So we need to try to find ways to make sure that whereas data protection will remain high in our agenda, it will also maintain the economic growth that we need. Digital signatures has just been published last week, the proposal for new regulation. Interesting development, merging digital signatures and EID. We need to see if this is what the market needs, and we also need to see if this is the direction things will go. Cloud strategy, it's expected. We have some ideas about what might be in there, but we need to see it coming officially. European security strategy, cyber security strategy, it's going to be apparently a mixed focus between, on one hand, international norms, how you need to behave internationally, and on the other hand as well, some obligations about the role that the member states need to play. Specifically focusing on things like security breaches or the establishment of cybersecurity authorities with, let's say, specific powers within the member states. That's what officially the Commission has stated. Obviously, we don't know what will come out of the inter-service consultation. Now, what's the Greek reality? The Greek reality is that I think we all agree that there has been some focus around the question of how do we grow investment, how do we drive innovation, and how do we drive innovation, especially that has added value, because all of these are national importance. At the same time, you don't really need to build a factory if you want to drive innovation in the IT sector. I think everybody recognizes that the market is suffering and that our model needs to change. At the same time, I think also everybody recognizes that Greece needs to remain present in the European developments and that these will happen one way or another. Specifically around Greece and the knowledge economy, we in Greece don't really show always and in an obvious manner what we can do. And I'm saying that because if you look at the listings and if you look at the impressions that there exist in a large number of corporations about our scores and our abilities on things like innovation or on things like research, we're not where we should be. On the other hand, I will tell you from my work in Symantec and from the work Symantec has done in research in Greece on European funding that there is amazing quality of research. All the examples that are listed there is technology which Symantec has co-researched with Greek universities through European funding and is actually introducing in its products. So all this is stuff that the Greek intellectual capital has actually contributed in doing. The challenge in Greece is around linking research with the market, around protecting intellectual property, and obviously around encouraging entrepreneurship and innovation. I will also tell you that one of the biggest challenges in Greece, in my opinion, is public-private partnership. If I look at things like the call for botnets, €8 million for developing anti-botnet technology, for which 2 consortiums bid, and Greece is nowhere present. I will tell you that there is now going to be a cloud call in June for another €10 million. For companies to participate in such projects, they need to have participation from governments. But in Greece, we're risk-averse when it comes to our public sector working with multinationals or with the private sector. The consequence of that is that if we do not participate, well, other member states will, and they will get the money. So money does exist, money is available, it's just not here. It's in Europe, and we need to make a decision whether we're going to go for it or not. Conclusion. Our dependency on technology will become even bigger, and together with that, the security challenge. That's a fact. At the same time, our objectives around security and privacy need to be balanced also with other legitimate interests, like economic growth, like advertising, like efforts around cloud computing. There is a lot of margin because of this innovation in the market for security and for innovation in security and for having companies on security and for even in this country using the intellectual capital that we have to develop those capabilities. I will tell you that Asia is very much moving to that direction. I'm amazed every time I go to APJ how advanced they are, not necessarily in their implementations, but actually in their thinking about where they want to go. The real question here is, do we have the will and the readiness to make the changes that we need? I'll finish with one last remark, because we talk in Greece about innovation often, or about our comparative advantage, and we refer to maritime, agriculture, and tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, frankly, I'm bored of that discussion. Things that we've been doing well for the past 3,500 years, as these, vases clearly show, are not innovation. They should be the low-hanging fruit. There should be things that we can do even better and use that to fuel real innovation. Of course, we should continue doing these things, but we should also try to go to the next step. We should try to go and look what extra is out there. I was very encouraged with the previous speaker and the comments that he did about the innovation that we see in mobile apps in Greece. That's an example of the way we need to go. Thank you very much, and happy to take any questions.